Wondering whose voice you are hearing this afternoon? My name is Veronica Commey. I have taken over from Nathaniel for just today. Because as you know by now, today marks the International Women's Day. And the ladies decided to take over because we think it's a good time to bring together accomplished women in sports for us to, know about their achievements, exactly the impact they have made, and what it is that we can do to promote the sports. So today we'll be bringing you an all-female panel. Most of them I should be introducing very soon. I have a few in the studio. Some will join on Zoom. So tell a friend to tell a friend that the ladies have taken over celebrating the International Women's Day. If you're just joining us, your dial is on 99.7 Joy FM. We are live on Facebook and on X and wheresoever you are watching us. I'll be opening the phone lines at some point so that we can take your comments or what it is that you want to share with us. But today, like I mentioned, the spotlight is on women. We would want to put the focus on the current state of women's sports in Ghana and the impact they have made and the way forward. In a bit, you'll be hearing from my guests, three seated in the studio. Do I start from right to left, or do I do an all play all? Which works better? Ladies, very good to see you today. Thank you for honoring the invitation. Thank you for coming to help us put the spotlight on ladies. It's great to see all of you, knowing that you have accomplished so much in your respective endeavors or disciplines. So let me just put the spotlight on my guest in the studio, then we can go straight into the conversation. You have Mrs. Joyce Mahama. She's here with us. If you want me to go exactly where she's sitting, she's in the middle. She has dedicated all her life and career in empowering women. That's someone who believes in women and also especially women in sports. On her path, she's broken a lot of barriers, creating opportunities across the continent. As the president of the Women's Sports Association of Ghana and now the newly elected president of the African Women's Sports Association, she's on a mission to unite and uplift female athletes, ensuring they receive the recognition, resources, and the respect they deserve. Good to see you, madam.
Thank you.
How are you feeling on this day, knowing that it's all celebration or celebrating women?
I feel good because the women have noticed that they are empowered.
So
That is
when
good
she's
for all
done,
of us.
before you introduce the others, just
Formerly, they
so
weren't
just
sure. Now,
introduce what I told you.
I want to be okay with a lot of things.
The profits that you see in 2023 over almost 2.3 billion was actually artificial profit. Because at the time they were not servicing their debt. But then if you take out the debt and what they are owed in that particular year, there was really no profit
Sincere apologies for the disruption there. I'll be coming back to my ladies so that we can begin the conversation. But let me take you to the Accra Sports Stadium where I understand that there is a breaking news because today they were supposed to have the national, or it is actually still ongoing, the National Weightlifting Elective Congress. And our understanding is that there seems to be some confusion. We'd like to go on the phone lines and speak with our reporter Joseph Ayanga Walter from Joy Sports, who is on the grounds. We'll pick his thoughts briefly on what is going on, then we come back to the studio to put the spotlight on our ladies. Hi, Joseph.
Hello.
Hello, Joseph. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine.
What exactly is happening at the Accra Sports Stadium? How is the elective congress going?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show today. I mean, today at Accra Sports Stadium, the media center to be specific, there were scores of people in their seats hopeful of casting their vote to elect the officials for the Ghana Weightlifting Federation. However, there was an injunction on the election by one of the aspirants for the board member position, who is Joseph Tintin. It is believed that he is from the camp of presidential aspirant of Michael Ni Yaboy, who is contesting incumbent president of the Ghana Weightlifting Federation, and member of parliament for Wejagbawi, Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib. There was a near chaos if it hasn't been for the timely intervention of the Ghana National Security Service. We would have had bad news, flying across the internet and then our media platform, because we have supporters of Michael Ni Yaboy at the entrance of the Accra Sports Stadium, and then other news coming in. And look, the news in here tells you the fact that the people within the Ghana Weightlifting Federation are not happy with how things are being run by the federation. They tell me the president is ineffective, which has made the federation somehow defunct with how it operates their welfare, players' welfare, and then weightlifting athletes' welfare, and then how management and then their affairs are being run. And it will amaze you to see almost 90% of people here at Accra Sports Stadium. Backing Michael Ni Yaboy, they believe he is the right man to take the mantle from Jerry Ahmed Shaib, who has made the federation defunct.
Joseph, so what is the situation on the grounds now? Are the elections suspended or are they going on?
No, the election at the moment has been suspended. And people, let's say people are still hanging around despite election not going on and not taking place. They kind of around monitoring if something might happen, because they are telling me they are high alert. They have their eyes on the ground and they don't want anything to happen.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed. I'm sure once you are there, you gather all the information we need so that we can play it in our bulletin. Thank you very much, Joseph, for joining us. So you heard from Joseph Ayanga Walter, who is at Accra Sports Stadium. He was supposed to be covering the National Weightlifting Elective Congress. Per our understanding or per the reports, there has been an injunction on it because of a few issues. I'm sure in our subsequent bulletins, we should be bringing you exactly what happened. I'll be coming back to the studio so that I can continue to introduce my ladies and we will begin the conversation. Also with us this afternoon is Mrs. Shelley Akwa Harrison. Mrs. Shelley Akwa Harrison is the managing director of the Trust Sports Emporium, a premium multi-purpose sports and entertainment facility in Accra under her dynamic leadership. The TSE that's the Emporium, has evolved into a hub for various sporting disciplines, bridging the gap between football and other lesser funded sports in the country. Her commitment to promoting an active lifestyle and wellness among Ghanaians is evident through the diverse facilities and program offered at the Emporium. Beyond her role, Mrs. Akwa Harrison is the owner and CEO of the SAR Consultancies, where she leverages her extensive experience in sales and marketing to promote strategic guidance in the business. So She's a woman of many parts, and she's also a former athlete. So you see the women who have been doing the sports or participating also going all the way. I'll be telling you about Evelyn Insiasare and also Hilary Boaten in a bit, who will be joining us on the phone line. But also with us in the studio is Mrs. Dolphina Quay. She is a visionary by every stretch of imagination, an advocate and a driving force behind the growth of swimming in our nation. She's the esteemed president of the Ghana Swimming Association. Under her dynamic leadership, Ghanaian swimming has witnessed significant strides, with our athletes achieving commendable performances on both international and national stages. Her dedication to nurturing young talent and promoting the sports has been instrumental in elevating swimming profile across the country. Ladies, it's great to see you here.
Because we don't know tomorrow.
So you'll be happy to.
Let me first of all wish you a happy International Women's Day. I hope you are feeling all proud. At least it's a day that we get to celebrate women. It's not something we do quite often. Today we'll be putting the spotlight not just on your achievement, how we can bring along some ladies, how far we have come as people, and the way forward. So let me begin with Mrs. Dolphina Quay. Hello, ma'am.
So for those who don't know that case, 48 hours is 48 hours. That's the case of Martin Pebu number 4 versus Attorney General number 4. Please, Saturday, Sunday is no longer an excuse.
So I'll be joined by the ladies in a bit, and like I said, Evelyn Insiasare will be joining us on the line or on Zoom very soon. Evelyn is the CEO of Hazakes Ladies and also the Vice President of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana. Mrs. Hilary Boaten is also a seasoned human resource professional with a wealth of experience in people management. She used to lead the role for the women's game at the Ghana Football Association. So definitely she's also someone who will have a thing or two to say about how far we have come as people, especially in women's sports, and where we are going, and exactly the impact we can make in bringing along the younger generation. We are trying to correct a few things, and then we'll have my guests here. They are already seated. A few technical challenges here and there. That's what we are trying to work around, and then you get to hear their voices, their stories, and everything that makes them tick. If you just tuned in, this is the Sports Link. It's a special edition of the Sports Link. It's the International Women's Day, and today we are putting the spotlight on our women. My name is Veronica Commey. I'll take a short break. When I come back, my ladies and I are here.
So you have table number 1, number 2, table number 3, table number 4.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We are all set to go now, ladies. Sorry for the technical hitches. It's all solved now, so we can go straight into the discussion or the conversation. Can I start with Mrs. Dolphina Quay? Good to have you here. Do you swim yourself?
Yes, I do.
Is it too late for me to learn to swim?
It's never too late.
Even if you are on the 4th floor?
Even the 6th floor, 7th floor. It doesn't matter which floor you are on.
What do I need to do? Do I just have to muster some courage, or
That is all it takes, actually.
The
You should
courage.
muster courage, yes.
And buy my swimsuits.
Yes.
I'll do so and come so that I can start swimming.
That would be good.
Good to see you.
Good to see
And
you
well
too.
done for everything you have done for the sports. Now we are all interested, or we are very happy to see our swimmers at competitions. We can almost hope that we'll get a medal or two because of your leadership. So thank you very much for everything you have done for the sports.
you,
It's
sir.
good to have you here. How are you feeling on the International Women's Day? It's our day. We get a spotlight on us.
For me, every day is Women's Day. So I feel great on this special day where women are being recognized all over the world for their achievements and whatever they've done in society and for their society and communities.
Okay, so I was wondering, historically, can we have a little overview about women and how far we have come, women's sports? If I will put the spotlight on swimming, how long ago or how long have you been involved and where did you start?
Okay. I would say I've been involved in swimming for about 15 years, maybe more. When my children started learning how to swim at the sports club in Tessador, we experienced to go with them just to have a recreation, play in the water, splash around, and then just sit back and watch them. There aren't many places to go here in Ghana, so you find something for your kids to do on weekends and on holidays. So we used to go to the sports club in Tesano just to go and play around. Then during one of their play arounds, we met this guy, Mr. Abu Jackson, whose children also were come there as well to play. And then he was like, aren't we wasting talent? I mean, why don't we put these kids together and form a swimming team and see how far we can go with that? And that is how it all started.
I see, and look at how far you have come.
Yes.
I'm
We've
sure
really come
we
far.
can be thankful that you decided to take the step.
Yes, because you see, those children, one of them being Abeku Jackson,
Oh, I see.
yes, has taken the sports further beyond our imagination
Our
and
flagship.
expectations. Yes. So it hasn't been in vain. It hasn't gone waste. They have really showcased their talents, and we are proud of them.
I see. It takes a woman, eh? It takes a woman to make a lot of difference. Mrs. Mahama,
Yes.
I have known you around the corridors for a very long time, dedicating your life to elevating women's sports. What's really encouraged you to want to do this in the first place?
A lot of things, if I should say, because women sports actually makes them bold and physically challenged. When you're a woman, there is Women's Sports Association that was formed about over 34 years. We are close to 35 years ago, and they come, we don't have a discipline per se, but then we cut across all the disciplines because most of them have women. So we see to the empowerment, the gender issues, whatever they have. So when you go to the Olympic movement, of which women's sports is a member, we are asked to get about 30% women in the Olympic movement. And we have less than that. Most of the women in sports, the leadership is lower. So we have to make sure that we encourage them, we empower them, we advise them, encourage them, make sure they get to higher heights. And in doing that, you need a lot of people who have love for sports, passion for sports to do that. Most of the women just go in. That was in the past years. Now it's not like that. Most of them just want to travel.
I'll be coming to you where we can delve deep into some of the things you have done and how it is that you think we can change the narrative. But let me pick your opening remarks, Ms. Shirley Aqua Harrison.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. I think that women's sports is something that needs focus, because if you realize when there was quite some funding from government for sports, irrespective of the cultural challenges that women usually face when they are partaking in sports. Women did well in sports in Ghana. I mean, we can mention the Rose Hart and the great Alice Enum and Co. Todusia, Oko, etc. When that focus was the women were doing well. So I believe that that is all that is needed to get women to go to the heights that they can take sports to, among other things. But that's the key thing that will get women to perform better.
Okay, ladies, let me join our colleagues on Zoom so that I can also take their perspective before I come back to the studio. We have Hillary. Is Hillary with us? Hi, Hillary.
Hi, Veronica. I'm here.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year
to you and the ladies in the studio, and happy International Women's Day.
Many thanks. How are you today?
Apologies, I could not be there in the studio. I'm not 100%, and that's why I opted to join via Zoom. So I'm getting better though. Thank you.
Do feel well soon. Good enough that we
Thank
can
you,
at least
Veronica.
have you on Zoom and you can join us in this particular conversation. How do you see women's sports in Ghana today? Where are we?
This is a tough one. I think again it depends on the sports we are looking at.
We can zero in on football for you.
I think women's football is actually not in a bad space. There's been progress. Not in all the national teams, especially the under 17 who had some issues in the past, but even with them, I think that ban should be lifted by now. Aside that, we've seen a good face of the female national team, the Black Queens. I think we've gotten some good progress right from when Coach Mercy Tego was with them and handed over to Coach Nora, and now to Lance. I think there's progress there, and it will be interesting to see how the team fares at the AFCON in Morocco later this year. I think for the other national teams, if my memory serves me right, there's currently the under 15 or 16 who are playing a tournament outside, and they're killing it. And so good progress as far as the female game is concerned, and even in the Premier League, we've seen some progress when it comes to the CAF Champions League, where Asaga's ladies a couple of years ago in the maiden edition went all the way to the final, and even after that, some progress. We've seen Ampem Dakwa also do well within the competition, and so I think overall there's been some good progress as far as the women's game is concerned. We're yet to win trophies, yes, not qualified for the World Cup in a while, but I think that with the path we are on, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
It was a point I was coming to, knowing that we used to qualify for the World Cup in terms of the queens, the maidens, the princesses have been at various tournaments and always exiting. But let me take Evelyn's initial thoughts so you can begin to chew on this, especially because you were focusing a lot more on progress. I wanted us to break it down a bit, so I'll be coming to you. But Evelyn is also on Zoom with you. Let me take her initial thoughts, then we can continue the conversation. Sure. Hi, Evelyn.
Yes, Beru.
How are you doing today? Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much. I'm good. I wish you same.
So, somehow yesterday you and I were having a conversation somewhere about where women football or women's sports is today. Where do you put us?
Let me wish all the women in football and other sporting disciplines a happy International Women's Day. Thank you. Let me take it from where my madam, my fabulous colleague left it off. You see, we have progressed a bit because Vero, if you remember, 2003 when we went to US, you realize that even our outfits was something that people spoke about. People used to call us Puma Nike because you see the players wearing jerseys, Puma, and then the foot will be Nike. But now when you look at Black Queens under 20, under 17, you realize that their outfits are very nice. And the coverage is also there. So we can say that Black Queens, and for that matter, our football in Ghana is progressing. But as you intimated that at first, that midterm, it was not progressing. We were able to qualify for World Cup, I think, on 3 to 4 occasions. But when you come to global women's football, it's a sport that it has increased significantly over the past decades because people have realized, countries have realized that when you put in more investment, you get it. Look at Spain, what they are doing. It uses to be US, it uses to be China, and where this lady is from, Marta, Brazil. But now we cannot see them because other countries are also investing so much in women's football. And you see, global investment in women's football is growing. So if you do not want to invest in the game, this is what we will see. If you hire a coach and you don't pay the coach to do her work.
Evelyn, yes, Evelyn in her usual waters. I know. But let me put a bit of attention on my guest in the studio. I'll be coming to you, Evelyn, so that you can passionately talk about paying coaches. Of course, I'm all for paying coaches. Is it okay if I refer to my ladies in the studio by your first names? Madam Delphina. So I'm wondering, who is this lady that, or a girl in the last 15 years that you think have come all the way because of what you decided to do for swimming? And what are some of the challenges that they have faced so far?
There are several of them, of these young ladies. We have a lot of them, but not too many. We don't have too many women or female swimming. But for the past 3-4 years, they are now coming up.
Why do you think that is the case?
You know what? You see, I keep saying most of our kids are of school-going age. One.
Yes.
They are trying to do education in addition to the sports that they are passionate about. Now, they start from maybe a very young age, go through primary, go through maybe when they get to secondary school. That is where the problem starts. Most of them cannot combine the two. And most of our facilities here, schools here, don't even have swimming facilities on their campuses. So let's say a girl goes to secondary school, goes to a boarding school in Cape Coast. Where's the nearest pool that they can be training in addition to the education? So most of them fall off the wagon when they enter secondary schools and universities. That is our main challenge. But we have ladies or girls who are coming up, who are doing so very well. Most of my best swimmers actually don't live here in Ghana.
Okay.
They are from outside the country.
That might be the reason, because they have better facilities, the
they
environment
have
and everything
exactly,
seem to help them.
Exactly. The girls here, we are trying. But like I say, they get into secondary school, they get into uni, and then they fall off the wagon.
How do we break that chain? Because obviously there must be something we should be able to do.
I think if a girl child or a girl or a boy, any swimmer wants to get to the peak, one, parents must understand the child that it's not all about classroom education. They can take swimming as a profession as well. That is something that our parents here don't get to understand. Because you see, when a child wants to get to the peak, they have to, swimming is like you have to be practicing every day, twice a day maybe, morning, evening, morning, evening.
How many hours?
Sometimes an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
That's not
Will
bad
do. It's
because
not bad.
I think the
Yes.
tennis players train for about 8 hours a day, 4 on court,
Yeah.
and 4 in
So
the
an
gym.
hour, most 2 hours a day, in the morning, 2 in the evening, should be okay.
Good enough to
It's-
bring you
yes,
to international
exactly,
standards.
because the more you are in the water, the more you are able to reduce your time and become more faster in whatever you do. I think in every sport, the more you train, the better you become. But these are parents who want my child to become a doctor, become an engineer, to become this, to become that. It's not easy. I have a personal experience where my youngest child, who was swimming for Ghana, got into uni in the US. And then the first day he got to school, he was taken around, they had a meeting. You'll be waking up around this time every day to do training, and you'll be going around the country for competitions and things. And I came back and said, this is not for me.
Is it a question of not having enough role models as swimmers? Because the footballers used to tell the story you are, how their parents won't let them train and all. But today, many parents would want their
Because they are seeing the benefits.
they are seeing the benefits, the cash and everything. So
Exactly.
is it a question of the fact that we do not have role models to point to these parents and kids?
I will say yes. I will say yes. We don't have enough role models from Ghana who has broken through. If we did, it is only Abeku Jackson who took gap years to do solely swimming. That is what got him to where he is today. But it's been only him. Who else can we mention? So most people are like, well, swimming is good, but for now, I want him to get a vocation.
Why is Kaya? Is that the name Kaya?
Yes, Kaya went back to her, I think her mother's home in Sweden.
So she's not swimming?
She's not swimming anymore.
What happened?
Is it Kaya? No, Kaya Forsen. Kaya Forsen is in.
Yes.
She's in medical school.
Oh, okay.
It's
so
difficult.
So she can't. She's in
Yes.
medical school here.
No, in France.
In France, so she can't combine the
No.
two.
No.
Oh, that's sad.
It gets to a place where they are not able to combine, and it's so sad. You see, when you go to the US, most of the best swimmers we have, that is all they do. They are professional swimmers. They go out there, world championships, they win money.
You were talking about your child, a
Yeah,
son.
a son,
So
yes.
he decided not to
He
swim.
decided not to stop. He decided to stop swimming.
And there was nothing you could do.
No, that is, I mean, at 18, 19 years, what can you tell the child? He also has his own ambitions.
So if he couldn't convince you, then convincing other parents should be very difficult.
We couldn't convince him.
Okay.
You get it? We couldn't convince because he had made up his mind. He said, they took us around, they told us what we'll be doing, and I don't think I can do this.
Okay, so if you couldn't convince him, how do you even convince other women, other parents? Because you're saying the parents need to understand
I mean,
that swimming can be a
Ghana,
full-time
we are
profession.
not, it will take us some time to get there.
About how long?
I think we are getting there because in the last 3 years, the number of swimmers, parents who have become interested in swimming for their awards, is really rising through the roof. Now we go for competition, and you can see about 400 swimmers, 450 swimmers in a competition in a day.
Okay, I'll be coming to you for us to delve deep into what it is that we can do different to change the narrative. But, Madam Joyce, you were mentioning that today the trend is changed a bit. So you have a few more ladies interested in sports. How good is that story, and how have you come so far?
The passion for sports has increased. You know, most of them have taken the older ones as their role models, and then they've seen that there's a lot to gain in sports. Formerly, people were just being pushed, do this, do that, but now they choose what they want. They don't just go just because it's athletics. I'm just going to athletics. Some people prefer tennis and then other disciplines. So I think they're getting somewhere.
So you think role models are just the difference in how progressive you have become?
When they have good role models and the role models are excellent, some role models will not advise you well, or whatever they do will not inspire you. Like you have athletes like Alice Annum, Hanefri, and the rest who have set records in athletics, and now they're good.
Margaret Simpson,
Yes,
Denim,
all of them.
Adra Bayo, and others.
Yes. So when you are watching them and their lifestyle, and you are also coming, and you have passion, we encourage the girls, upcoming girls, to have passion for the sport. When you have passion for whichever discipline you find yourself, always you like to aim higher and progress. So that's what we have now. We have women in boxing, we have women in weightlifting. Formerly, if you are in weightlifting, they will tell you grow masculine and whatever. But now they do it, they don't. And surprisingly, women in, weightlifting, they are medalists. When they go to competition and tournaments, they bring medals home.
Okay, Shelley, as the director of the sports, the Trust Sports Emporium, what is your experience in terms of having women? Yeah, the challenges.
Okay, for me, I think because my focus is mainly on lesser funded sports, I would want the discussion to be around the lesser funded sports for me. And I think the first thing from where I sit is the fact that we see sports as a recreation and not as a profession. So I think administratively we must move from seeing sports as a recreation to a profession, because when you go outside the country, there are apart from footballers, that a lot of people know, oh, this is a professional footballer, or maybe there's a professional boxer. In Ghana, there are only a few women, because we are focusing on women. I would want to center on women, but in Ghana, there are only a few women that you can say they are professional athletes. We don't have that because a lot of people see the whole sporting thing as a recreation and not as a profession.
Even if we see how much Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, Coco, and others are earning in prize money, it's not good enough to let people know that you could take it as a profession.
That is when they are outside Ghana. In Ghana, they will not earn that much, and that is the reason why some parents would not encourage their children. You see, in her case, she wanted her son to do the sports, but the son didn't want to do it, so it was difficult. But then there are some children who may want to do it, but the parents will not encourage them because they know that if they don't get them to do another profession, in inverted commas, profession, then the child may become a burden because they won't be able to earn much. So parents do not want to encourage their children to do that. Another challenge I see is the school system. When I was growing up, we did 7 years in secondary school. So Form 1 to 5 and then upper 6 before you go to the university. I started running when I was in Form 1, which is like JHS 1 now. That was when I started running. By Form 3, I was a member of the school team, because you are always practicing, and when you are in school for the full 7 years, you are jogging every morning, you are training. Even when you come home, you have the opportunity to jog a bit, etc. So you build the resistance, and you build you hone your skill in whatever you are doing. These days we have 3 years SHS. JHS, they don't do that much sports, and most JHS is not boarding, they are home. Let's give the scenario. Let's say you have 2 children, 1 boy, 1 girl, 17 years. If the boy tells you, I'm going to the basketball court to practice, as a parent, as a mother, you find it easier to allow the boy to go than for the girl to tell you that I'm going to the...
Why is that the case? I never
because
get to understand
culturally, the woman should be in the kitchen. So you have people say that, but that is what the person wants to do. But culturally, we think that the woman should stay at home and be a home mender.
So that must be the first thing we tackle.
Exactly. So because they don't have that long 7 years to be in school where they can go through all that and build their skill. When they come home, they don't have that opportunity. And unfortunately, a lot of the parks that we had in our neighborhoods have been sold out for estates and churches, etc. So even at home, the facility to even go and practice whatever you have is not available. So all those things affect us. Those are all challenges affecting us.
Definitely, there must be something we should be able to do.
Yeah.
But let me rope in our ladies on Zoom. Hillary. Hi, Hillary.
Hi, Vera.
So before
Yes, Vera.
before I zoomed to Evelyn earlier, we were talking
Yeah.
about progress and also the fact that
Yeah.
even in the midst of the progress you are so happy to tout, we haven't been to the World Cup in a while.
Yeah.
The junior teams have been going and still hesitant at the group
Yeah.
stages. How do we even call that progress?
Well, so it was the progress is general. I was speaking generally from where we've come, and my big sis Evelyn spoke about even the attire, right, the branding, and the likes. So progress in various areas of the sports, and in this discussion, I'm talking about football here. So that is where the progress was coming from. But definitely, there are areas where we need to see significant improvement, and no doubt about that, especially when it comes to qualification, not just to the World Cup, but even to progress, right? From group stages. You're right. The Black Queens have done it back to back. Sorry, the Princesses back to back. Now we need to get to the stage where we are progressing, and you look at what FIFA is doing, and I think FIFA, even as the football biggest in the world, is actively promoting women's football globally, right? And they have initiatives that have focused on development, showcasing the game, communication, governance, and education. So they have a very ambitious aim of 60 million female players by 2027, using their 5 pillars to achieve these goals. And as I read and get to understand women's football, I would like to use an example that Germany is going by, and I think that it's something that I would implore our authorities in the game to probably look at, right? And I think in the long run, because we are talking about ways in which we can project our game and make it better. And for women's football, let's look at, and it's a suggestion, it's a recommendation, and I think we can do it. So why don't we partner with schools? And I know that for athletics we have intercore, we have super zonals where we get, and the recent one I saw some really huge talents. I hope that these are talents that are not allowed to go to sleep, but we find a way to support and hone them to become superstars, as other countries have done. So for football, why don't we look at getting these kids interested in the game from the kindergarten stage? And I'm using Germany as an example because it's something that they have done and it is working. And it's not even just Germany.
US has done
My
it for
sister
a very
spoke
long
about,
time.
yes, it's not just Germany, Belgium, US, Japan, up and coming countries that are doing excellently well in the women's game. Let's allow these kids to come to school, all right, to learn, but also to play. So even not just football, all sports, they bring them. And once you open up the access, they would show the interest. The country takes up the cost for them once they show interest in the area that they are interested. So if it's football, you take them up, the talent is there. So from 5 years up, the girls would then have leagues to play in. it is doable. Even if we don't have the leagues, we can leverage on the academies we have in the country and get some of these things done. Or if some of the schools are not able to do this, we can pick on a few schools and start this thing. And that is a way in which we can get raw talent and feed them into our national teams. Right. So at this stage, we would then be developing the passion because we know their interest in the various sports that they are in, and slowly migrate them into the mainstream. With that, we have a feed for under 15. We have a feed from there to under 17 to under 20, and then to the female national team. So then there's that pool that we always rely on, and with that, you know that these are talents that have been developed from a really young stage, right? And not talents that we just see and poach them quickly into national teams without probably getting them to mature and understand the game properly. With that, when you get to the stage, to the highest level of the World Cups and the Champions Leagues and all of that, you will see a difference, because you will see talents that have developed, that have been honed right from childhood all the way to the top. I think these are some of the things that we probably need to start looking at. Let's partner with the schools, maybe the Minister of Education, to come up with programs that can hone talents from the schools. And these are kids. My sister earlier was speaking about some parents who do not allow their kids to even partake in their passion when it comes to sports because they don't see the monetary gains. You wouldn't blame a parent like that. But with what FIFA is doing for football now and where the women's game is going, I will be very surprised if a parent is not allowing their daughter who is passionate about the game to play, because there's a lot of money that has been pumped in there. And it's obvious to see at the women's stage, the audience, the interests, the visibility. We have a player on the continent who plays for Zambia, who's the highest earning player in the league in US. And we can go on and on. So there's money in the game. You have to just ensure that the talent we have here are able to plug in to that source of income by doing the right things. Because we cannot have a female footballer at this stage who cannot read a contract. We need them to have the talent, but also to be educated. Yeah, please go ahead.
One thing that I see run across all of us, the conversation this afternoon is about awareness. Creating awareness, getting to the players, encouraging girls in particular to like sports. I'm wondering, and I think I will start this with Evelyn, just how important is the role of the media in this particular contest?
See that it's very important, and the awareness that you are talking about, I can confidently say that GFA started this, I think, last season, where the women desk organizes programs throughout the whole region. They came to my region. We brought basic school students together at Opokuwari Secondary School, where they exhibited whatever talent they had for them to pick from. And this, I can also recollect Mr. Nyantechi's time, where some of the PE teachers from the various secondary schools were brought together at KNUST to undergo a training so that they can be those talent identification people within the schools. But now, what the GFA is doing is that they have put together a regional coaching scout team. They go around whenever there are programs to pick students from that place in order to be trained to become players and stuff like that. But as Hilary said, we need to start from the grassroots as the GFA started. But is that the right thing that we are doing? I think we can perceive to be doing this, but if we do not empower people to take care of the girls that we have put together. We will be having the same conversation every international day, because when we start and we are not able to monitor, the missing link here is the promotion and monitoring. Like the question you asked about media getting involved. If you remember during our time, myself, you, lawyer Eva Autry, we sit on radio, we speak about women football, and people think we were joking. Here we are now. Promotion of women football activities is becoming so important that every team is having a media officer. And that is the reason why we can also say that it has progressed, because at first we didn't have media officers being attached to the teams. Now, when you come to the Premier Division women, all the teams are having media officers attached to the teams. We also have marketing officers. And from time to time, GFA organizes a seminar for these people to be able to know what it is that they have to do for their teams. But in as much as we want to put all these things together, if the people who are supposed to pump in investment, that is money, are not doing so, we will be back to square one. We will be back to square one. Because, for instance, we have 20 teams. And if one person is able to emerge as a winner, and the person is giving 60,000 or 70,000, meanwhile, within the whole season, you are spending almost 250,000 Ghana cedis. Do you do business to get profit, or you want to just run at a loss?
I'll be coming to getting sponsorship for women's sports in general and how difficult it is. That is something we hear, but I'm interested in taking our various takes on the role the media can play, because I do not want us to gather again a year on and all we have is, in quotes, lamentations or challenges.
I get you.
Evelyn,
the role the media can play,
yes,
is what you are doing right now.
Yes,
it's part of what you are doing right.
But we have been doing this for a while. Are we getting the results? Do we need to change the tact? Do we need the media to lead the conversation from the front? Because in the end, somebody will have to lead it. Otherwise, it is just talk here and there. So, Madam Delphina, let me pick your thoughts. Just how can the media help in creating awareness, or what spots can they take to solve some of these problems that we have?
I think for us from swimming, the media as our partners are really doing well for us. I mean, carrying our sport, which is a less known sport in the country, to the corners of Ghana. So the awareness has been really sent out there through the media. Without them, I don't think people would have heard about the way the sport swimming and how even young kids can swim. So the media has really helped us. What we want them to do now is to learn the swimming rules. What is swimming? So that when they come to our competitions, they can understand what is happening and carry it along. Not just taking pictures of kids swimming, and because they are not able to sit with us and, what do I say, maybe during a competition where they have to give, like football, where they give, what's the word?
Medals.
Not medals. I mean, speaking about swimming, watching a swimming competition and giving.
So it means that
commentary.
The interest will really have to be there.
Yes.
And you have to cultivate it, because I think naturally you look around and we say that we are a football nation. It is why we even say lesser funded. They like to even say lesser known sports until recently. So it means that there has to be a deliberate attempt to carry the media along. If I am
we have tried trying to explain to them, teach them what swimming is about. But it seems like you said the interest is not really there. They come to cover the sports they do, but the commentary that goes with it is what we want them to know. They should understand the sport of swimming.
That'll be capacity building.
Yes, we are ready.
Maybe
we are ready.
I
mean, I think a few years ago we called them, some of them, to Hair Place, the Sports Emporium, just to educate them.
So maybe you can do that in tandem with the Sports Writers Association of Ghana. Have a seminar or two somehow, because in terms of trying to build it, we have to hold here and there every step along the way, so that we can get to our desired destination. So I stay with you still, Madam Joyce, in terms of what the media can do.
Just like she said, workshops, seminars, and maybe attend conference. And they have to read a lot, because maybe some of them being called to seminars and workshops might not come. They say they have other programs. But if they read, they should get in touch with the discipline that they are attached to, and make sure they read a lot. They have to learn. Because if you are giving a commentary on a discipline you don't know much about, they're saying something or they're doing something and you're also reporting a different thing, it makes the whole thing funny. So they have to learn a lot about the discipline they are attached to. And when covering too, they should cover well. You know, at times when people are watching, they cover to some extent, and then where the interesting ones are there, they leave. They cut short.
So if you just join us, there's a special edition of the Sports Link. Today is International Women's Day, and we're putting the spotlight on women's sports. My name is Veronica Commey. I'm anchoring a group of seasoned sports people, women, who have achieved in various ways, as we try to, rate where women's sports is today, the challenges, and very soon we should be getting into the conversation about the way forward and exactly what it is that we can do together as a group. But let me start this with you, Shirley.
Yes.
It's quite okay to put down the challenges because they are quite obvious. But beyond the challenges, who should be leading this conversation? Because you listen to Evelyn speak about how if we are not careful, we will gather again a year on and talk about challenges. I think we can look around or in the mirror and tell ourselves this is something we have done a lot, speaking about the challenges. It's a good time to find the solutions, but who should lead this conversation?
I think this should be a national effort, because although when the individuals go for competitions and they win, it's an individual win, the pride goes to the nation. And that is why when we are not able to qualify for some of these Olympics, etc., the whole nation is up in arms. So it should be a concerted effort, put stakeholders together, and let's plan how to get us out of this dungeon we find ourselves in. So it's not just an individual that's supposed to do it. It should start from the top.
When you say the top, how high?
The minister and the people in the sports ministry should put focus behind this, and maybe get some people from corporate Ghana, individuals who are into the sports industry, to get together and come up with a whole strategy to help us to achieve this.
Is it a good time for yes,
so
ma'am.
Like you say, we have Commonwealth Games next year.
Yes.
Some countries, as at now,
You will start
gathered-
preparing two months to
gathered
time.
their
I know
best.
this.
Sometime 2 years before,
You will do 2 months before. I know this.
which is very bad. I mean, how do you get people ready in 2 months? You see, we the federations are doing our best. All we need, the government, the states, is to put in a little effort. And it's all about money.
Yes, it's the corporate bodies.
It's all about money.
They all have to come in.
I had funding, but
Funding,
before I
yes.
take your respective opinion on funding, I think it will be a very common thing that we hammer today, funding. And maybe, Shirley, with your role as a marketer, you may want to tell us exactly what we are also not doing, because it's become difficult to attract funding for sports and women's sports in particular. But if you are listening to us and you want to share your thoughts, kindly do so via our WhatsApp line 055 1111 997. Let me repeat that again. You can share your thought with us on 055 11 997. 055 11 11 997. You can share your thought with us and I'm happy to read them. Funding.
Okay, so what
It's the same chorus
what
everywhere.
are we not doing right? Personally, I think I don't even know how to start this. I may get bashed. I may also not get bashed.
It's part of leading a crusade that should change things,
yes,
and that's okay.
Before a marketer decides to put money behind any activity, they look at the numbers. So they look at eyeballs that is going to see their brand, the number of people who will be there, so that if they want to do some form of sampling, etc., they will have a lot of people, because they will not just spend money without knowing where they are going to get. Every spend has to bring an ROI, return on investment, sorry. Every spending has to bring some return on the money you are investing into whatever it is. So if the marketer is not sure that they are going to derive some benefit from this, it's difficult for them to put their money behind whatever it is. And that is where the media comes in. Because sometimes the media is too focused on football. So the other sports do not get that same limelight for people to know that, we can also put money behind the sport or that sport.
Football is even struggling themselves.
Even
though the media puts a lot of sports
I have
like
actually had cause to call some media houses to tell them to change the name of their sports program and make it football, because they say it's a sports program, but they come and all they discuss is football.
I think it's okay to kind of pick on the media sometimes, but I'm thinking that even in that space, the league has no sponsor. It hasn't in a very long time, and that is supposed to be their plume thing. So maybe generally sports is struggling with getting sponsorship.
I think you should not bring in the league, because there are other challenges that is not making it interesting for marketers to want to be associated with the brand. Every marketer will first think about what is in it for me as a brand. So they will not just go into it if there are issues. So yes, we love football, and I love football very much. Don't get me wrong. I love football. Unfortunately, I support a team that isn't very...
a team in Ghana, or it's Arsenal?
Well, Arsenal and then Asante Kotoko in Ghana.
Arsenal. Can you imagine? I used to support that team.
Why used to?
I used to.
Please come back. Yes,
no.
but let's
some of us are not happy with what you're saying about Arsenal, because that's our team.
Really,
Arsenal and Kotoko.
That is it.
My sister, please
I remember
support
when
us.
I used to work at L'Oreal.
Manchester United and Kotoko. It's not easy.
Dark and lovely. And then there was some deodorant, etc. But I was approached by Rex Broby for Ghana's fastest. That was the first time he was starting. And because I'm a sports person and I know the benefits of sports, I sponsored that program. But there are some people who do not know. So if the media is not getting them to know, then it is difficult. So as I sit here, we are starting an amateur league. And one thing we are doing is, previously we're thinking, maybe let's get this media house to cover. But we realize that people need to understand why some actions are taken by referees. So we are putting a team of media houses together. We are not going with one media house. And then after every fight, we are going to bring people like Azuma, etc., to discuss why this went this way, why this person scored that way. So people understand. So even if you are home and you are watching, you understand. So next time you hear that there's a boxing match somewhere, you know that, when I go, I'll understand what happens. I'll appreciate it more. So you will go. So that is where we need the media. The media, as she said, they should learn about the sports and be able to teach people about the sports. Sometimes when we have very serious sports discussions, then they will bring a representative from MPP, a representative from NDC. So when they come, it's like, yeah, we did this, we did that, we did this, we did that. So we don't get to the bottom of the issue
So that's why
to solve it.
we are here.
Exactly.
We
so we
have
should
to
be
get to
doing
the
things like that.
bottom of
People
it
who
for
are
everybody.
who are not here because of some benefit their political party will get, but the benefit the country in total will get. When we start seeing sports that way, then we make it attractive. And once it's attractive, then the brands would want to be associated with the product, and sponsorship can come in.
So it means the media is your strongest ally here.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, they are.
And obviously the tact would have to
Because
change.
nobody will know what you are doing
Yes,
if the media doesn't.
The tact would have to change. We were expecting them to come. Now, the knowledge, we are not too very happy. So we have to bring each other along.
Yeah.
If we don't do that,
Oh,
then
yes.
we just might be, running in circles. But
Yeah.
I think they have to do their packaging well. When you want, because I'm a marketer as well, when you want, how do you call it, a company to maybe promote or how do you call it, sponsor your program, you can't just take something. Let's say you take a car fit product to a Muslim, they will not sponsor.
So we are talking about the federations
Yes,
here.
so you have to know how to package.
Because definitely it can't be just one person getting it wrong. We all
No,
have
no,
to,
all of us,
yes,
all of us.
come in sync and see how we can do. Madam Delphina, can I come back to you?
Yes, you can.
You were also talking about funding. I think it's something that cuts across, and usually those at the top would say that okay, they are doing their best. What can we do together with the private sector to get them on board?
For swimming, we've tried and they said, oh, you people, you have money. It's an airline sport. You are rich. That is the thinking out there.
How do we change that mentality? That even the sea still takes water when it
yes.
rains.
Yeah, you see, and swimming
I'm really interested in us getting solutions today,
today.
so that in the end we can still decide that okay, for this group of people, if it means calling on the minister or leadership, a conversation would have to start, and someone will have to lead that conversation, because otherwise we talk about our challenges, we go home, tomorrow is still with us. What can we do differently so that a year on, when we look back, we say, okay, we took this step, this is how far we have come. Please, you are talking about funding.
Yeah, I think, you see, most of our corporate bodies out there also have issues understanding the kind of sports we are in. So if the corporate bodies who will give us the money don't understand the sports in which we are, and you take your whatever to them to ask for money, and they said, well, how would they give you? They also have to understand. And I think government should make them understand that government cannot do it alone.
So that would be the role of the government.
Yes, government
How
should have
about
to.
the respective federations?
The
Because
federations are doing their best.
there is always a first time where you hear about a sport, and the added information will be whether you want to know, or somehow look at the American sports, how they market it. They almost push it on you until everybody says that okay, this is equivalent to the World Cup, even if basketball is not. So maybe we have to be deliberate. What can we look in and do ourselves?
We are very deliberate. In Ghana, you know this whom you know syndrome. You go to a corporate place to ask for, and because you don't know anybody there who would lead you or who would direct you, who would talk for you, they take your letter and they just straight away somewhere else. So you see, even though we are doing our best, the corporate bodies and the people in Ghana should also deliberately and intentionally decide to help. When you go to MTN to sponsor say, swimming, like you said, how many people watch swimming? How many people are going to see this adverts by watching swimming? They won't come on board. So we are doing, see, we start from somewhere. We start from low. But if you don't help us to climb, how do we climb? So the federations are doing their best, but the corporate bodies and government should also come on board to help us.
Okay, I imagine those who matter are listening, and I still would employ that beyond this, we can begin to strategize to see how we can change the narrative a bit, because it will be great to see how we've been able to make changes, because we have a lot of girls looking to us. Shelley, you wanted to add something, but let me pick a text message. This has just come through. Prosper Domenyo. Okay, you have tested us from Dakumana Accra, and he says, "Good day, happy Women's Day to Veronica and the distinguished set of female panelists. Our female football teams have shown very good potentials over the years, but unfortunately, they have always lacked what most important in the game: motivation and financial support." I'm sure we all can agree with that. If our female teams get a quarter of the support given to the Black Stars, I believe they would have won as many laurels by now. It is about time the current okay, so maybe government reset sports sector by taking better care of our female teams, given the necessary motivation and support. Thank you, Prosper, for supporting the women. You can also share your messages with us. I shared the number earlier, but let me repeat it: 055 11 11 997, and I'll be happy to share it with my ladies and those of us listening. Once more, you could also call us in about 10 minutes, or we would open the phone lines, and the numbers will be 03022165541. Let me repeat that again. That's the studio lines. When you call us in about 10 minutes, we should be able to put you through so that you share your thought with us. 03022165541. Hillary. Hi, Hillary.
Hi, Veronica.
Okay, so you can keep your Arsenal support and all. I am not jealous of you at all. I can't stand the broken hearts
Now,
from that
now we are
team.
called the bridesmaids. We've been second for like 4 seasons, and I don't even
I'm
understand anymore.
embarrassed for you, Saka Teta. I have said this too long. Saka Teta. So,
No, I actually agree with you. I was on a podcast last week, and I shared the same sentiments.
he should be
I don't think
gone.
he's the one to give us a trophy,
No,
to be honest.
please. No, he is not. So let's focus on the way forward. I think we should be concluding very soon.
Yeah.
The way forward.
So I think a lot has been said, to be honest, listening to our distinguished ladies in the studio, and to my sister Evelyn as well. So maybe backtracking to the question you asked about how high can we go in terms of who to take up these challenges to. I think we have gotten to a stage as a country, and I'm talking about Ghana, and I'm talking about every sports discipline, not just football, where attention should come not even from the sector minister. It should come from our first ladies when it comes to women's sports. Our first ladies allowing their husbands, who are the presidents, to probably focus on the male side. But if there's interest from our first ladies, the intentionality is there. I don't see how their spouses who are seated in the seat as presidents will not be more vested in the women's game. I think we need that intentionality all the way from the top. So if we have a first lady or a vice president right now, for the country, we have an adorable vice president who, again, is from my school, so I'm very proud of her. I think we should be intentional about pushing female sports development across the country. We talk about funding, we talk about visibility, media support. The intentionality should be there. The sort of interest that the media has for the Black Stars, the sort of interest that the media has for a Kotoko and Hearts game, the sort of interest that the media has, and the hype that we would hear in our ears for weeks if Kotoko or Hearts is playing Champions League final or playing in a CAF Confederations Cup final, a Dreams FC or any other, that sort of hype. Why can't we channel that or transition that if it's women's teams playing, if it's a women's swimmer, if it's a female athlete, if it's a female tennis player? I'm so passionate about tennis. You spoke about Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams. Coco Gauff, at her age now, is the highest earning sportswoman in the US at her age. She's been blessed to be born in a country or a nation that supports and gives the platforms for female sportswomen. Why can't we do that here? I just sometimes sit down and ask, why is the intentionality not there when it comes to women's sports? Not just football, women's sports. Let's just focus on every facet of sports now. We need someone, and yes, we will talk about it. Those of us who are vested in the game and in sports, we will sit on these programs and tout our challenges and our progress and our achievements. But who then is the one at the top who's saying, look, I'm going to be the advocate for women's sports in the country to ensure that the sort of investment that female athletes are getting, women athletes also get. The sort of support that male athletes get, female athletes will get. And that is where I personally feel we should throw the challenge to our first ladies, our vice presidents, and then we can break it down to our female ministers, not just the sports minister, because it's a lot for just the sports minister. When it comes to women's football, trust me, he will try his best, but he would need more people to support him. So let's advocate in our own small way. Let's try and get our leaders at the top who are female to also push. Get them, even when they are when Hazakes ladies is playing at Anampendakwa in a Champion of Champions final. How many leaders, female, do we get to see in the stadium or in the stadium? How can we leverage them now moving forward? Let's set that sort of national dialogue where we are intentional about highlighting the female sports, the games, the achievements, what the women have done. We can go back when it comes to football. Our female national team went to the World Cup first, Alberta Saki's team, before our national team, the Black Stars, did. But look at the visibility they get. Why can't we just get it? And I've wrapped my head around it. I think now is the time where we politely invite our senior leaders who are in the topmost position. And that's being said, I'm not sidelining the president. I think the president, once his first lady advocates and pushes for it, automatically will also become vested in it. So everyone, right from the president, should get involved in this. Thank you.
I like that, Hillary. You're saying that we have to be intentional and deliberate, because obviously, one thing is true. We don't want to be on the same level as the men. People all over the world are fighting for the ladies' tennis, footballers across board. It's something that globally we are all struggling with. I think what we can focus on is how we get our fair share without almost getting nothing at all. So we could focus our energies on getting our fair share good enough.
Equity, yes.
Yeah, this is how we will get it.
To project the sports. Evelyn, you were going to mention how you think we will get it.
I said it. I don't know if I have to come in.
Please come, Evelyn.
Okay. Hillary said we are very fortunate to have the first time a woman who is the vice president, is it possible that myself, Hillary, and few other people who would want to take the lead visit the woman and at least have a stakeholder engagement with the woman to at least explain everything that it is that is in the sporting fraternity as far as women are concerned? For all you know, she might have a feel of how the disciplines are being done and how they are being financed, but she might not be able to have the details of it. So if we have the opportunity to see her, we can start from there. And then we spoke about the visibility. Hillary said the Black Queens went to the World Cup first, and it is a fact. When we went, we didn't see any black star.
You're talking about the senior teams.
The senior team is what I'm talking about.
Before the Black Stars.
We went to the first World Cup, I think that was 1999.
Yes.
Where were
China.
They were not there. So for the fact that we were there first should even inform our leaders that there is something in these women that we can take it as a case study and do it for them. For Ghana as a country, they are all passionate about football. And there is a significant potential to grow women's football if media and authorities take proactive steps. You see, the Ghana Women's Premier League that we speak about, it is not a national league, Vero. This is what we have to let people know, that it is not a national league. And that was the reason why when the president promised the teams buses, we were so happy because we don't have money to play it as a national league. And that is the reason why we have the northern sector and then the southern sector. But if we have money and we are doing it nationally, I think it will help all of us. But traveling from Takrade to Tamale, you don't have the resources to do that. So I believe when people speak about football, yes, sometimes we will understand them. Not that we don't appreciate the lesser known sports. They are also doing well to develop in terms of sports in this Ghana. But if we want to leverage so that people can see us, we should expand the live broadcast. We used to have Max TV covering the Women Premier League matches. It was so nice. But how many people were able to pay for the Star Times products? Why can't we give you to the free channel free to air channel, so that everybody can sit in front of the TV? If I want to watch Army Ladies and I'm not in Accra, I go and sit behind GTV and I'm watching the women play a beautiful game. Again, why don't we give it some of the leverage to the team so that they can also have the equipment to telecast their own matches? As it stands now, if you are playing a Premier Division match, you can show it on your Facebook. Even if you want to get the visuals for educational sake, you need to pay some money before you can ask somebody to take the footages for you. We want to develop the game. Why don't we make it open so that the teams, for instance, Hazakes we are playing today, we go there with our cameraman to show it so that we can at least get something from the Facebook, from the X and other social media platforms that we can get money from. We also have to leverage on the digital platforms. Internet, social media costs so much money. Was it on Wednesday or Thursday? I was very happy when the minister announced the 10 cedis worth of 6 gig for MTN credit. I was so happy that, yes, if we can get this every weekend, whilst we are showing our matches on our social media platforms, I think it will get us something small.
Evelyn.
Betway used to organize a mentorship programs for the women teams.
Evelyn.
And the whole of last year, we didn't see it. I believe this season we are going to experience that. We also have to have media club partnership with the radio stations where they give some small time, like every 10 minutes or every program, you have earmarked 10 minutes or 20 minutes for the women premier teams to be able to come there, talk about their teams.
Evelyn, thank you very much for your thoughts, for joining us on Zoom today. Best wishes to you and Hazakis. I hope you both sell us a good game so that the interest in women football will continue to develop. Have a good weekend. And also to you, Hilary, thank you very much for joining us. I will give the reminder of the time to my guest in the studio. Thank you so much. Have a good day, ladies, on Zoom. So
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
Studio. I remember that the new minister, Honorable Kofi Adams, have been here a few weeks. He said that he was going to give equal attention to all sports, and it's not just football. When the president spoke at the nation's address, I think that emphasis too also came through very well. Is it a good time to be hopeful?
For me, I think yes. In fact, he was at a place when we launched the amateur league, and he said the same thing.
Yes.
So it is indeed a good time to be hopeful. But beyond that, I think there should be a national policy on youth sports development, zooming into women sports development. That is what is going to actually help us. And I think that if the government can come up with a policy where if a corporate organization sponsors some sports activity, there's a rebate.
Tax rebates and
exactly.
all that. I think the Sports Act 2016,
there is.
I think the
Maybe
Sports
are
Act
not-
has it.
So
Now, whether it's
education.
effective,
Maybe it's about the education.
it's not effective.
It's
If
not
it was,
effective. It's
a
not
lot
effective.
of
I think
corporate
without a doubt, the Sports Act itself would need some publicity.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that people know exactly
People know,
what is
and then
in
they
there
can-
and
so that
and
they
then-
can assure people that in that that's a, when you sponsor something, you have tax rebates
Exactly.
and other things. I'm sure corporate bodies
They'll come in.
they'll come in,
They'll
and
come
if those who present their packages to the corporate bodies also package themselves well, because if you don't take a good package to the corporate body, they will not sponsor you.
yeah.
You have to make sure that you go in for what they want, what they think they will also benefit, because they can't sponsor you when they don't know what they are benefiting. So we also have to understand where to take our packages, how to put them up, package them well, and present them. I'm sure we'll get sponsorship. Maybe we'll not start getting big sponsorship, but bit by bit, somewhere we get there.
Okay. So, but Madame Delphina, I should take your thoughts on that. The president's
I have met with the minister,
yes.
and just like he said he's here for all of us. But we should give him time to settle. in.
Yes, I think he's been here only less than 2
So
months.
he's asked us to give him some time to settle in, and then he'll start meeting us one-on-one to hear us out. So we are waiting patiently. But for the sponsorship, like I kept saying, it shouldn't be whom you know. Corporate bodies should start giving attention to all sports in the country, all disciplines.
Whom you know means you could still make a lot of good friends so that you have a lot of people knowing you.
You know, I don't want to see you sitting somewhere.
And it depends.
Yeah.
You see, so that is the biggest challenge, a very big challenge to some of us, because we I remember in 2019 when we had a African Championship, we rose to over 200 companies here in Ghana.
Is it a good time to let real marketers be the ones drafting the proposals or
We
getting
tried that.
marketers to be part
We
of?
tried that. We brought in people. We brought in marketers, people with expertise. We brought them in.
So it means there is something wrong with the attractiveness of sports. There is a missing link that we may
Then
have to
We
find.
have to find out. Yes, and address it.
Yes.
If you don't
So
know
when
much
you-
about it,
You know, when you go in first and you go with very huge amounts, obviously they'll run off.
You see, no, but like we said, parents will ask, "What is in this sport for my ward?" Because if at the grassroots level, the beginning, we are not getting sponsorships to help them. We have a competition in Egypt coming up, Junior Genius in Egypt in April.
Ghana,
Yes,
do
Ghana
we have
is-
swimmers going?
Yes.
How many?
We are taking. We can only afford for 2 boys and 2 girls. But if we had the money, we can take a total of 10 or even more. Because you see, for these swimmers, competing internationally with your peers gives them some kind of confidence to do more.
Yeah.
But where is the money? Who do you go to ask?
Average labor, how much do you need to take, let's say, four athletes to this competition?
Okay, let's say so for Egypt, after I calculate everything, about 1,500 per child, which is
Dollars.
Yes, $1,500, which is accommodation and airfare.
Food.
So for 6,
That is
okay,
6,000, less than 10,000.
less than 10,000,
And the person
the
accompanying
coach.
them, yes.
and the coach. But you see, where do you go to? Whom do you go to? Some parents, some of these talented kids, they have parents who cannot even afford. The children are talented, but the parents cannot afford it. So what do? Do they only swim here, show off their talents here, and not get to compete with other kids, their peers across the world? I
I'm
mean, it's not
wondering,
fair.
in the various, you have the various clubs, right?
Yes.
Don't you have adults swimming? Who are these adults? Are some of them not market leaders?
I explained to you earlier, most of our swimmers, when they get to a certain stage,
No, I'm talking about parents.
parents.
Because just like tennis, I play tennis, and you will have a lot of parents, some industry leaders.
We do have them. I remember a year or 2 ago, I formed a committee, sponsorship committee, made up of parents, to help us find sponsorship for our awards. They met, I think, 1, 2, 3 times, and we tried here. We couldn't get anything. We tried here, and they are like this. We tried here, and then that was where it ended.
I want us to end on a very buoyant note. We have 9 minutes to do that. Please make my spirit happy, because it's beginning to look like, okay, it's been a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
What can we do?
There's so much that can be done. First of all, I think there should be the alignment with corporate bodies. So I have personally tried to organize a meeting between the federation heads and corporate Ghana. It couldn't work out, because I wanted us to come together.
It didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
Why?
There were some issues with National Sports Authority, because
Issues
with National Sports Authority, that was where we took the letter, NSA, requesting that we wanted to meet with the federation heads.
When
and
was this?
This was 2023.
Okay, this is 2025.
Yes. So we'll try again. But for me, the put off was the bit that we were told by NSA that if we are inviting the federation heads, then we have to provide their transportation and food. And that was something that for me was a put off, because I'm also a company trying to do something for sports. So trying to bring them together and bring corporate Ghana together, so that the federations will say what they want to do in the year, and we align them with various companies that think that's what the federations want to do, align with their strategic plan for the year. That's what we wanted to do. But then, because they said we should provide their transportation and
That
food
is
when
not
they
true.
come.
We are all heads of federations here. I am, she is, and we are never given transport. We never ask for transportation and food. Because we all have our cars, and you just give us the letters and we drive to wherever.
What we are doing, we are not being paid for.
Exactly.
It's out
Something-
of passion.
yes.
We want to help. We want
Voluntary
to do
something.
some-
No.
Voluntary. So why would we want you to give
Nobody
us
pays
transportation?
us for anything.
That was the information
You
we
see,
got
that's
from
a
there.
wrong
So because of
information.
that, I decided that let me hold on, because I also need to account for the money I'm making. So if I'm trying to help, and from the National Sports Authority, this is the information I'm getting, then let me just pull my brakes on it and wait till I'm in a position where I can comfortably do this, then I do it. But I think that is a very low-hanging fruit that we can easily plug to get the sports going.
Shirley, may I ask,
You
why
should
did-
have
why
brought
did you
a
go
copy
through
to
the
the
NSA?
Because we
Olympic
wanted a
Committee.
lot
You
of
can
the-
get
a
all
lot-
the
that's another issue.
federations.
We wanted all of them to come together.
You
We
can
meet in
get
our
it.
conference room.
You send
You
a
could have
copy
written
to the
us
Olympic.
individually,
Yeah.
even individual federations.
I didn't have all of them.
I mean,
so
they say that if you try once and you don't succeed, you
try
try
so now
again.
that I know a lot of you.
Yes, I think we
I had been there for just a short while, so I didn't know
want
all
to
of
we
you,
want
so.
to make a lot of
Yeah.
changes, so maybe we can
Yeah.
change that, retool, reset,
Exactly, exactly,
and
exactly.
see what our progress it is
Exactly.
that we will make. But I think I have about 5 minutes to wind down. Do you have people you would want to wish well today? Please, you can take your turns and do so before I close the program.
Okay. First of all, I would just like to wish my mother happy International Women's Day. She's been my rock, and she's been there for me through thick and thin. So, first of all, to my mother, to all the female employees in my office, I would like to wish them the same. And then the female members in my Rotary Club of Accra Cantonment East, I like to say. And for all women in sports, today is our day. Let's go out and shine.
Thank you very much. I'm sure they are listening and they'll be happy. You didn't mention your mother's name.
She's Mrs. Gloria Aqua Harrison,
Wonderful.
a retired headmistress.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. And to you, Madam Joyce.
I would like to wish all the women in sports, in fact, all the regions, we are all over the regions, we've got branches all over. So I'm just wishing my national, my regional heads, and every discipline, all the disciplines who have women in it. Now we've been given the mandate to also handle girls and boys, because they say with the boys will be mothers to them.
I see.
So yes, so I'm just wishing all the girls and boys who are into sports a happy International Women's Day. They should know that they have mothers who will protect their interest, whatever the thing will be. I'm also wishing the International Women in Sports, that is the African Women in Sports, a happy International Women's Day. I know this is for all women, not mainly in sports, but when it comes to this, we are all involved. And I would like to say that we have a thing that we do in fighting and ending violence against women. We've noticed that there's a lot of violence against women nowadays, which even leads to the death of some women. Some are athletes, and some are parents of athletes, some are mothers, sisters of athletes. And we know that when it comes to that, we are heavily and affected. So I wish them all a happy International Women's Day.
Many
I
thanks.
know, yes, I know very soon we'll sign a MOA that is going to teach the women how to fight. Miss Martial Arts is going to train the women. So we will not sit down for them to come and beat us and do anything bad against us. We will also have physical support. We will fight back, and nobody will play violence against women again.
Thank you very much for that thoughts, Madame Delphina. Anybody you want to wish well?
First of all, to my family, my husband, Sedkwe. I only have sons. I cannot wish them happy Women's Day, so I'll wish their wives. My confidants, this is Erisi Gabokwe. Hello, and wishing you a very happy Women's Day. Now, to all my teachers, I'm an educationist.
Okay.
So I have a school around the school. My teachers, mostly who are female, I want to wish them a happy Women's Day today. To all my board members at the Ghana Sports Swimming Association, Madam Farida Idris, an amazing administrator, Miss Saha Kambulamte, Madam Helena Williams, Miss Wadbene, and all my board members, my female board members especially. Now, so a special friend, my doctor friend, Mrs. Is it Kabo? I've just forgotten the name.
That's
Hello.
fine. I'm sure she will understand.
Yes, I know she understands. Wishing all women out there, whether in sports, whether in education, in whatever capacity, I wish them a happy Women's Day today.
Oh, but you know, let me add this. We are thinking, when she spoke, we are thinking about going to the vice president So
you want
let's
to wish
all
her-
take this
Yes.
opportunity to
Wish
wish the
her.
Vice President, who is the first female Vice President of Ghana, a happy International Women's Day. We know she's there and she'll be for us, and we'll be coming to her.
She's
Her
made us all
Excellency
proud.
Professor
Yes, she's made us
She's made us
proud,
all proud.
and we
are
know
proud of her.
it will be a very good step in women's sports. Straight
Sorry,
away,
yes,
she's our
Sally, I think-
patron.
Yeah,
I think you wanted.
Yes, I wanted to give a shout out to all Hobsons because today is our day, Holy Child School.
Okay.
We're having a speech day today. So to all Hobsons, congratulations and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much, ladies, for making this lovely, sharing a lot of thoughts. I have hosted today Mrs. Delphine Akwe, Miss Shirley Akwe Harrison, Hilary Aqua Harrison. Hilary Boatin was on phone or on Zoom earlier, so was Evelyn Nsia Asari, and Mrs. Joyce Mahama has also been with us in the studio. Today has been the special edition of the Sports Link in honor of the International Women's Day, hosted by yours truly, Veronica Commey. I hope you've had a good one. I have had, same together with my ladies. Thank you for tuning in and listening today. Up next will be Showbiz A to Z with Kobina Dazi. Do stay tuned and have a great day.